Welcome to the deep dive. We crack open some interesting sources to get you well-informed fast. Today, we're diving into something pretty much everyone thinks about, financial freedom.
Yeah.
For a lot of us, that means like seven-figure businesses, maybe passive income, retiring early,
Yeah.
maybe even a yacht or, at least a really nice espresso machine. But what if that whole picture, what if it's kind of missing the real point? What if the actual luxury isn't the number in your bank account or the watch you wear or the car you drive?
Yeah. And that's where our source material gets really interesting. It's an article called The Quiet Luxury of Financial Peace. And its core idea is, well, that the real luxury, the thing that genuinely changes your day-to-day life, it's simply not having to stress about bills anymore. It's quite a shift, isn't it? From all those, tangible things we chase to something intangible.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore how this quiet luxury is really different from how we usually think about wealth. We're going to dig into how it actually impacts your daily life and maybe most importantly, your mental well-being. That's something the source really focuses on. It sounds like it's about getting back more than just money. It's about reclaiming your peace of mind.
Exactly. Peace of mind.
So the source makes this really compelling case that chasing the big numbers might feel like the goal. But the real win is just the absence of that financial stress. It talks about building a fortress around your finances. Can you sort of walk us through what that fortress actually looks like based on the article?
Absolutely. And it's interesting, the article stresses that this fortress isn't built with like huge dramatic actions. It's built with these consistent, almost boring fundamental bricks. The first really crucial brick is having a solid emergency fund. And it's not just about having cash for a disaster. The source points out how powerful it is in just eliminating that constant low-level hum of anxiety, the kind many people just live with.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly, a flat tire isn't a full-blown crisis, right?
Sure.
It's just an inconvenience. And that shift, that reclaiming of your mental space from all those what-if worries,
Yeah.
that's a huge piece of this quiet luxury.
That makes total sense. We usually think of an emergency fund as just, good financial practice.
Yeah.
But framing it as something that directly frees up the mental energy you were spending on worry, wow, that's kind of a revelation, isn't it?
It really is.
So what's the next brick then? What else builds this fortress?
Okay, the second brick, and this one is maybe one of the most powerful, is automating your savings and investments. The source actually calls it putting your financial growth on autopilot.
Autopilot. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just about making sure the saving happens. It's about getting rid of the decision fatigue. That daily or weekly thought of, okay, did I save this month? How much should I move? Imagine just not having to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Your money just quietly goes where it needs to, building your future in the background while you focus on, living your life. That quiet, consistent growth without you having to constantly manage it. That's a real cornerstone of financial peace.
Yeah, I can totally see how freeing up that mental bandwidth would be
Well,
a game changer.
mhm.
It's like your financial engine is just humming along quietly, instead of something that you're constantly having to check and adjust.
Precisely.
So what's the final key piece the source mentions for building this fortress of financial peace?
The third critical brick is creating a budget. But wait, not the kind most people think of.
Oh, no, not the dreaded budget.
Right, not the restrictive straitjacket kind. The source reframes it completely. It calls it a roadmap.
A roadmap. I like that better.
Yeah. It's about consciously being the pilot of your money. You're deciding where it goes rather than just drifting along. This roadmap, it's designed to actually support your values, your priorities. It ensures your spending lines up with your goals for, peace and security. It brings clarity, it brings control, and it removes that shame or guilt people sometimes feel about money because you've made intentional choices. So this kind of mindful spending becomes a tool for quiet luxury, not a chore.
What the source really seems to be hammering home here, it's that this isn't just about piling up money. It's about making a conscious choice, a shift in what you value, like choosing to prioritize that feeling of calm, that peace of mind over maybe the newest phone or another expensive dinner out.
Exactly.
It feels like a very deliberate kind of financial self-care, one that maybe delivers something deeper than just buying stuff.
And that raises a really important point about the profound impact of making that choice, this peace of mind. It really is the ultimate form of self-care, isn't it? Because it gives you the freedom, the actual freedom, to make decisions based on what you want, not just what your bank balance dictates at that exact moment.
Right.
It's being able to say yes to that spontaneous trip with family, maybe.
Mhm.
Or, and this is huge, being able to say no to a job you despise
Without that panic.
without that crippling fear of how will I pay the bills?
Yeah.
It's the security that comes from feeling fundamentally in control. And that, as the source points out, is way more liberating than just, having a massive net worth on paper.
So wrapping up this deep dive then, the ultimate message from our source seems pretty clear. Maybe don't just chase the money. Chase the feeling. Chase that quiet, peaceful, profound luxury of just not worrying about the bills. The article calls it a game changer, and it sounds like it frees up a lot more than just your bank account. It frees up your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So it leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? If reclaiming your mental energy, your focus, and gaining that freedom to choose if that's the true luxury, then what's one small decision, maybe one single financial brick you could consciously choose to lay starting today,
Wow.
to begin building that fortress around your finances and make that shift from just surviving to actually truly living?